What's up, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we just got done watching the E3 conference, and it was interesting. I think I'm gonna give it a score. I'm gonna give it a grade, kind of how I felt the conference was. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm not gonna know like every single thing, you know, from the conference. Like, I'm not gonna like remember every single thing, so it's not like I'm leaving out things and it gets a lower score because of that. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going off of, okay, fresh from seeing the conference, my thoughts. Now, if something changes, I'll probably make another video talking about that. But let's just talk about the conference itself, how I felt the flow. The pacing of the conference was a little bit off. There was a lot of kind of stops and turns and kind of introducing live people, then kind of doing some stuff, and some of it was hype, some of it wasn't hype. For example, in terms of the pacing, just talk about the pacing, like the Gears of War stuff, how they showed the trailer of the person's head just moving out from one direction. Like, that was just a stupid introduction to Gears of War. I see that they're trying to make it seem like more than what it is. They're trying to make it more of an emotional journey, but I just felt the pacing of that was just off, and then somebody comes out live and does that. I mean, they could have just done it to where, hey, Gears of War, and then they do all that, the head moving and all that with the rest of the stuff. But it was like they were going to WWE Superstars. You can play that. Like, it just seemed like the pacing was just all over the place. Sometimes it was paced well, but sometimes it was paced like not so well. They did a lot, like they did like a lot of the Forza stuff with the Lego and all that. I mean, that pacing was just necessarily not great. I mean, there was just things that I didn't like about it, and it's the #1 reason why I'm not a huge fan of live shows, because there is all of that stuff. Because a lot of that stuff seems to be like, when they were doing that, a lot of the time went into changing from one person to another, switching the camera angle, going to this, going to that. Now, it wasn't like all the time, but it seemed like some of it was like the issue there. I'm going to say, in terms of the games, they had 60 games, they said. They had Xbox Game Studios games, but to me, I think the biggest issue was that there was a ton of CG gameplay from the bigger games, a ton of CG gameplay, a ton of multiplats, and a ton of, we'll see this next year, we'll see this later this year, we'll see this whatever this year. And I'll be honest, the stuff that was even coming out this year, it was just like expansions. It was just like expansion stuff, you know what I'm saying? So while it was cool, there was a lot of great games, like just kind of putting it all in together, because I obviously can't talk about every single game individually. While it was cool, it was a lot of just, oh wow, we've seen that before, or okay, we don't really have any details, or it's coming out next year, you know, or it's multi-platform, which is fine. Microsoft is kind of pushing for that, and they talked about Game Pass a lot. Now, one of the best things one of the best things about Game Pass was probably Sarah when she came out. Listen, Sarah, she sounds like that corporate woman, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest, if you saw my reaction, yo, the game, I mean, it was cool having her come out and talk about it. It was cool having her come out and talk about it. But in the same respect, it was cool to see Sarah come out and talk about Game Pass, you know, and the ultimate Games Pass, right? So where, and I predicted that, to where you can get the bundle, right? You get Xbox, Bronco Buster. No, you can get Games Pass for PC, Xbox Live, and regular Game Pass for $14.99. I said that they would do some type of bundle like that. Still no but xCloud seems like it's going to be a free service, so it's not something that you pay for. So it's like all your games that you want. So it seems like that's cool. They got that in line in terms of things. I think probably the biggest announcement for me for this conference was probably Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star Online 2 coming over to the West for the first time, free to play, with all the content in there, powered by Azure. So it looks, people are kind of skeptical, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this in the comment section or here in the live chat, but it looks like that's going to be a cloud version of the game, because at the trailer that they showed for the Microsoft conference, it said powered by Azure in the top corner of it. So it said powered by Azure. So that's the only thing that I'm a little bit, like, okay, well, it looks like it's the cloud version. Now, the cloud version's already on the Switch. They already have versions of the game Phantasy Star on the PlayStation 4. So it seems like, is this going to be localized for everywhere? You know, is it going to be localized for everywhere in the West? It seems that way. Microsoft might have been paying for it or helping out, but I don't think it's going to be an exclusive forever, I guess, right? So it might be Phantasy Star. Maybe somebody in the chat can let me know, but maybe it's Phantasy Star for everywhere. Now, yes, it's been 7 years. I see some people saying that. Yes, it's been 7 years. I understand that, and I'm not giving them too much. Like, it was just surprising more so than it's like, well, what took you so long? You know what I'm saying? Like, that took them forever. I'm not giving Sega too much points for that, but I guess it was the most surprising and hype thing for me, I guess. Outside of that, I can't think of too many other things that got me super excited to see, because it just seemed like there was a lot of stuff that like we already kind of knew about. I mean, they showed Borderlands, they showed the Outer Worlds, they're showing a lot of shows that we already kind of knew about, and information, the games like we already had information on, or they showed like stuff like Battletoads, for example. The art style in Battletoads, while Battletoads seems like it's going to be cool, I was kind of hoping that they're going to go for a little bit something a little bit grittier with the art stuff of Battletoads. I get it, like it kind of looks like Streets of Rage, and I think that's somewhat of the issue that I'm having here. It's like, oh, wait a minute, we got two games that kind of look very similar to each other, you know, so it kind of looks like Streets of Rage. Obviously not the designs when it comes to how the main characters look, but just the game itself. So it's just like, you know, we already got something like that. So that was the only issue that I had. I thought maybe they'd go with a little bit of a grittier style, polygonal 3D graphics, but still not anything like crazy, right? Like still like, I mean, for example, like Oninaki is like 3D graphics and everything, and it doesn't look like the other games like Battletoads or like that. So I thought they'd maybe go with the 3D graphics look, but also obviously on a much smaller scale. I didn't think they'd go with that style of look. So so that was that. I mean, they showed off Tales of you know, Arise, which was great. They showed off the new Miyazaki game from Software, but multi-platform, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But leaks, once again, the Dragon Ball Z game, they showed off more of that. Looks great, but you know, it would have been nice to see some more actual, like, what we're going to be doing in the game, you know? I mean, they just showed off some of the hype scenes, but it would have been nice to see some of the mechanics. But overall, like, a lot of cutscenes, a lot of stuff that we knew about, and a lot of, like, they had, like, the you know, the, what was it? The next console, Project Scarlet. And they talked about that, and they did like the same thing they did with the Xbox One X, where like, we can push, this is the most advanced, and that's fine, the frame rates and all that, but I mean, people want to see the games, and they said that, and I'm down for it, trust me. My Xbox One X is sitting right over there, my Xbox One S is in the living room, I like the systems, it's a day one cop. Scarlet is a day one cop, but I don't get excited to hear about frame rates and all that stuff. You know why? Because if I really wanted to, I've got a PC right here, and I honestly, guys, I can go out and buy whatever graphics card that I want to. But I feel like I don't want to do that, you know? Because I don't care about that stuff as much as other people. I just want to play the game. Like, I can buy a high-end PC. I can go spend, if I really wanted to, I can go spend $2,000 or whatever to get the highest-end graphics card and get the best processor. So I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, frame rate, I can already access that. If I really want it, I can just get it. But I don't. So when they start talking about that stuff, I'm just like, okay, that's great, but that's already available. If somebody really wants to go experience that, you can do it right now, you know? So for me, it's about the games, and like, they're launching Halo with it. That was cool. They showed off Halo. I love that. I thought that was really cool, but they didn't actually show like the combat and you shooting and like the progression of the game. They show off somebody talking, and then you in the suit, and then you jump out, and then then it goes to light. You know, it's just like, that's not what I want to see. I want to see some gameplay. When I first see the game, I want to see some gameplay, because you already teased the game last year, then you teased it a little bit more this year. This is the next year, it's launching holiday, so it's gonna be 3 years of the game being at the show, and that's what I don't like. I don't want to see games at E3 for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 different showings of, okay, this game is here, you know? So that's the issue that I had. I think it was too much of a tease. They should have showed at least a little bit of some combat. At least with Cyberpunk, they did. Well, Cyberpunk, they already showed off the game before, but that was hype. But I mean, just like, it was a lot of repeat stuff, a lot of, okay, we're giving you a little bit more of a look, which is fine, which is not too bad. But at the same time, we already knew a lot about some of these games, you know, so, and they didn't really give us a lot more information about stuff. So overall, I mean, if I'm looking at the show, how it was, like, the presentation was obviously an A+. The presentation was great. It looked like the transitions were smooth. Everybody remembered their lines. They didn't mess up. It was all great. Keanu Reeves was fantastic. I thought that was really cool too, having Keanu Reeves. That was dope that he's going to be in Cyberpunk. That makes it, to me, like, I got a DM, or not a DM, I got a like an email or whatever. I'm going to get Cyberpunk. I'm going to get a review code. I'm going to buy the game myself. I want it on Xbox One X. I'll get a review code for PC. I'm going to play the game. It looks great, but it's something like, okay, we've known about this for multiple years now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know. We know. And Keanu Reeves was great. He looks great in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is awesome. You know, along with Sarah Bond. I mean, Keanu Reeves and Sarah Bond in a press conference, yo, that's at least worth, like, minimum, like, a D. Minimum a D. You know what I'm saying? With those two in there, you know, at minimum with that. You know what I'm saying? So, in terms of the grade for the conference. So, to me, like, it was great, you know, to have them in there. But at the same time, man, like, at the same time, I don't know, it just felt like there was that big game that we didn't know about, that we didn't hear about, You know what I'm saying? Like that, like we didn't know or anything like that. Like it was at least, you know what I'm saying? It was at least like there just wasn't that extra thing in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I think that's what it's really was missing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was missing overall was that they didn't have that big game. You know, it didn't have that. So it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Overall, if I had to give the conference a grade, I'm gonna give the conference a D for all you in the chat. No, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'd give the conference. I'd probably give the conference. After thinking about everything, like I said, this is just raw reaction to the conference overall. I'd probably say that it was. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a C+. I'm gonna give it a C+ because there was an extraordinary amount of CG trailers. I still feel that it was a good show. They talked about the next gen console. I mean, they did some good stuff. xCloud looks good. Game Pass stuff. I'm not as well, I'm interested in Game Pass, but you know how it is there. Sarah Bond making Game Pass look interesting. You know what I'm saying? Making Game Pass look interesting with Sarah there. So yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a C+. I thought it was a good conference. I thought it was okay, but at the same time, I definitely think there was some issues here and there with pacing and issues with just basically no big game, like no big new game reveal that was like, oh my gosh, exclusive that I'm gonna be like, wow, this is the game that we're gonna play this year. There wasn't a lot of stuff for this year, and I think that's the biggest problem too. Is like, what are we playing this year? It's like I don't want to play Lego Forza. You know what I'm saying? So C+. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a C+. For you guys here in the chat, live chat, you guys can let me know what was your score for this conference. I'm gonna say C+, B-. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely think there were some holes here and there. Not enough games for this year. I'm sorry, but when it comes to E3, I'm not this whole future gen type of person where you got to show me something that's going to be 2-3 years out or next year. Show me games that I'm going to be able to play this year and next year. Just don't show me next year, which they had some games for this year, which was fine, once again, which was fine. But at the same time, I still think that it was just missing a few different things here and there. So it is what it is. So what did you guys think about the conference? Of course, here in the live chat, we'll talk about you guys in just a bit. And of course, if you're watching replay in terms of on the edited video on YouTube, what did you guys think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go to check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, Nintendo gaming, and Microsoft stuff going forward. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.